What's up, Wildcats? Today we're going to walk through the basics of what you need to know and where you can find things for this class. I encourage you to open a browser and follow along with me and explore more on your own. Hopefully, I'm going to answer any questions you have along the way, but if not, write them down and let me know. So let's jump right in. The basic place that you need to start is the same place that you'll be using for all of your classes, and that's Schoology. To find Schoology, you can either go to the DVHS website, which is where I am right now. You can find the Schoology button up on the top. You can also access Schoology by going through the school portal. So if you click on your SRV USD portal, you can find Schoology here. Or you can do what I do, and you can just create a bookmark from Schoology so that you can just click on your bookmark and open it up in its own tab. So once you're logged into Schoology using the same district login that you use to get into everything, you're going to go ahead and find our class. Now, once your schedule is created, you should have a class created for every course that you're enrolled in. But for this class, and for right now, I don't have any classes. So for right now, I created just a sample class so that you can see what it's going to look like. But your class, for me, will have a very similar icon, and you can just click right into it. So let's explore around. So when you click into our class, you'll be taken to the Materials tab, which has the link to our course website, which is what I'm going to spend the majority of this video walking you through. But there's a couple other things I want to point out. This is where you have access to your grades, which I'm sure you're familiar with because we've been using Schoology in the district for a few years now. There's another feature that not everyone uses the same way, so I do want to quickly just talk about the Update section, and then we'll come back to this Materials section. So let's go ahead and click on the Update section. And here you can already see I have a little update created for you, or I should say for my practice class. And this is where I will post announcements, reminders, links to reflections. Occasionally you'll have digital assignments such as a digital group task or a digital mastery check. This is where you're going to find that information. Sometimes on a Friday afternoon, I'll just type in and post, hey, don't forget about this. Don't forget that there's a schedule change tomorrow. This is really sort of my announcement section in case there's something coming up that you need to know. You can like these posts if you want to, you can comment them, or you can just use them as a reference. So let's go ahead and go back to the Materials tab so we can check out the website that I have created for my classes. So click Materials, then you can click Course Website. It doesn't load very nicely within, so if you actually click on those words, course website, it will take you directly to our course. So this is something that's likely going to be a lot different than in your other classes. What you're going to see here is a tab specifically, or a portion of our site specifically for regular calculus. You can also see I teach AP Calculus on other years. There might be other courses up here as well, but this is our homepage for regular calculus. I tried to make this website as intuitive as possible and as helpful as possible for you. So if you click on course info, that'll take you to our drive. Right now, the course info section is blank, but typically this is where you will find the course syllabus, any other general information, the information I gave out at back to school night, anything that you might be looking for that doesn't tie to a specific unit, you're going to find it in this course info section. All of these Google links are going to take you to our class drive. So I'm going to make sure that you get added to this drive so you have access to all these files. So you can always, instead of going to the website specifically, you can just go into our shared drive if you would like. But let's go back to the website. The next thing I'm going to point out is the calendar. And actually you can click here, it'll open into a new tab that takes you to the Google Sheet version of the calendar. But it's also down below on the page, which I'll scroll to so you can see in just a second. The next thing we're going to talk about is the resources. So general resources are things that would be helpful for the class in general. So the Judson Basics has our information about how it's best to contact me, how the expectations are for the class, how the grades work, how you can use study hall or access time to get more support, but different things will be in that particular section. If you scroll down just a little bit, what you'll see is every chapter that we're going to cover listed out with icons and clickable pages. Now, not every single chapter has been updated yet. So for example, we're going to go look at chapter 1 we're going to go look at Chapter P. Chapter P should be almost completely ready to go in a perfect world. And you'll have access to chapters 1 and 2 and 3, but you'll notice when you go into those pages, they're not as developed as Chapter P is, because Chapter P is the chapter that we're jumping right into. But let's look at the calendar that I mentioned briefly is below, so that you can see what that looks like. One thing I want to point out is that it said on the top, this is a live document, which means I update it regularly based on where we're at. This has the calendar for basic on-track pacing for the course, but we'll talk about that in a different video. All right, let's go ahead and look into one of these chapter pages so we can see what it looks like. So we're going to click on Chapter P. You're going to see at the top a brief summary of what the chapter is in fact about. You're going to see the slideshow on the right-hand side. This slideshow will always have the slide that's happening on the day that it's happening. So it's going to be telling you what to do or what happened in class that day. It might have the groups that you're in. It might have other information telling you where to go. There's also a link to the practice folder, the notes folder, and this big link here will take you directly to the Chapter P drive. So let's go ahead and just look into those links briefly. So again, the slideshow on the right, if we click practice, it's going to take you back to our class drive where you have access to the practice worksheets. You don't need to print these, but if you want to do them digitally, you can download them and do them here. Or if you're absent and you need access to them, you have access to them through the drive, but I will be printing them for you. Also are the worked out solutions where I have actually digitally written down and shown work for each of these assignments so that you can check your answers after you complete each assignment. Similarly, for the notes, you can find a PDF that has all of the notes for the entire chapter. So this is a pretty long document. It has all 4 sections that we cover in Chapter P. And then each individual section, and they're not all in there yet, but each individual section will have worked out answer keys for you to look over and check on. And then lastly, if you just click directly on that drive button, it will take you to the Chapter P folder within our class Google Drive. Then if we scroll down, you're going to see each individual section has its learning objectives and sort of step-by-step the process that we're going to work through. So that first part had a link to the first video that you're going to be watching, which is the P.1.1 Graphs and Models. It takes you to the YouTube channel. You can click on the second step to access the practice, which we already looked into this folder. Then you can decide whether or not you're ready to take a mastery check, whether or not you're ready to move on to the bonus video. And it continues on just like this for each of the sections with their learning objectives, and not everything will be linked. Sometimes links will come as we get through the sections or as I prep more stuff. Below each section is just linked to older videos that I have created on these same topics. These videos are typically a little bit longer. Sometimes they're directly from Algebra 2 in this case, since Chapter P has a lot of content from previous courses. And then below you'll see other resources such as Khan Academy, Flipped Math, and then a link to my general YouTube channel. Because again, there are a million resources out there, but I want to guide you towards some that I know are really successful. So when you're navigating through the page, you can actually use the drop-down menu to change to a different chapter. So Chapter 1 is kind of set up, but like I said, it's not broken down by section yet. I'm not that fast. The same thing is true for the other chapters. If you click on their pages, you'll see the different resources and links, but not everything has been updated quite yet. If you click on the home page, it'll take you back here. If you're interested in what my AP Calculus students are doing, you can see the drop-down menu for their classes. But this is really the home base of all the things that we need for this particular course. So you need to be able to log into Schoology so that you can click into the website or use Schoology to access your grades and announcements. Other than that, everything you really need is on this website, so make sure you have access to it, explore around a little bit, and let me know what questions you have. I look forward to supporting you this year. Thanks for listening.